Hi there, this is Shraddha. Welcome back to my channel. So you already know this, but I'm going to tell you all over again. I had the honor to talk to the phenomenal author and one of my favorite authors in the vampire genre, Leigh Miller. And okay, I don't have words to tell you how much I liked her, how much I enjoyed our conversation. I'm just going to say those were one of the best conversations I have had with an author. With that being said, please continue watching, but you know the three things that you have to do first. You do remember them, right? Please don't tell me you forgot them. It's been a while since we last talked, I know, but that doesn't mean you forget those. Well, for those who already remember, thank you so much for remembering, and I hope you do those. And for those who don't, you need to like, share, and subscribe, and then continue watching. Please continue watching. Please welcome the phenomenal author, Leigh Miller. First of all, thank you so much, Kara, for this honor. It means so much to me that I got the opportunity to talk to you, and I'm so excited and looking forward to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll have to admit, this is my first time doing this type of interview, so thank you. I'm so excited to be here and talk to everybody.
So as I told you, I have got a bunch of questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So my first question, what has influenced you the most as a writer?
Well, pretty much everything. I get a lot of inspiration from people watching, although I haven't really been getting out of the house much lately, but I watch a lot of TV, believe it or not, probably more than I should. And I get a lot of inspiration, mostly from watching the actors' facial expressions, like sometimes just the way they look at each other, and you can kind of gauge like the emotion that they have, and that's really what I try to draw on when I'm writing my own books. And of course, I do read a lot as well, and I, get great ideas, language usage from the books I read, which really helps come through in my own writing. Sometimes just a simple line or even a small subplot in a book that doesn't go anywhere that can spark an idea. So really, inspiration is everywhere.
Right. Okay, my next question. Do you like audiobooks, physical books, or ebooks better, and why?
It depends on my mood. My series is moving into audio. The first two books are now available. And it's, I have a fantastic audiobook narrator. She is just amazing, and I love her. So I love listening to those because I love her voice. I love the inflection that she uses and the different character voices. But I will admit, I don't often listen to a lot of audiobooks just because I do a lot of writing and editing, and I find it distracting listening to somebody else read while I'm working. But typically, if I'm at home, I prefer physical books. If I'm traveling, I usually bring my Kindle. So.
To be honest, I never tried audiobooks. I just don't know, but I'm always so hesitant to try audiobooks. I'd rather read, but not listen. It's just a thing with me. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I just can't.
I know some people that love audiobooks, like they listen to them all the time, like when they're cleaning or working out or driving, which I can see the benefit in that. I really can. I honestly was never a fan of audiobooks until my day job started moving our books, because I work for a publisher, started moving our catalog into audio, and my job was to proof the files when they came back. So I had to kind of get used to listening to audio for that. And I kind of became a little bit, I guess, intrigued by it, but it definitely, like, if you have a bad narrator, it's just going to be a bad book, no matter how great it is if you read it on your own. So the narrator really is such a huge part of the enjoyment for audiobooks.
I'll have to give it a try. I'll start with Eternal Curse. I like the book so much. I'll start with Eternal Curse. Yes. Okay. What behind? Sorry.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
What behind the scenes did in your life would probably surprise your readers the most?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty much an open book. I have glasses that I never wear because I've gone so long in my life without them. And now I always forget, like, I should be wearing them now, and I totally forgot. So when I go out and then people are like, you have glasses? Even my kids, when I first got them, they're like, wait a minute, you have glasses? Like, yeah. So I think that kind of shocks a lot of people when I do remember to wear them. But really, I'm very open. What you see is what you get, I guess.
All right, my next question. What is the funniest typo you have ever written?
Actually, I was just revising my newest story. I was going through it looking, for typos and things like that. And there was a line in there where it says, she peers into the water, and I left off the R. So she was peeing in the water. So that was interesting. So yeah, I fixed that, obviously. So it's a new book that's actually going to be releasing in January. It's part of an anthology. It's another vampire series, but this one actually the vampires are born; they're not made. So it's kind of a whole new series with mythology and stuff. I'm excited for it. So hopefully it'll, hopefully people will like it.
I think I'm gonna like it because I just love your writing style, the way you narrate the story, the way you build the world. It's just so beautiful. I hope people like that. Okay. My next question. What is your favorite time to write and why?
I usually prefer to try to write first thing in the morning when I get up because I feel the freshest then. Like I don't have a ton of things going on. People aren't messaging me. It's quiet. My kids are in school. My husband's usually at work. So it's a very quiet time. The puppy usually sleeps after he eats in the morning. So it's just, I just usually spend about an hour or two every morning writing. And then I kind of get that out of the way, and then I spend the day doing work. And sometimes, in the evening, depending on how chaotic the house is, I'll try to write at night. But it's usually in the mornings when I write the most.
The next question. How do you think being a writer has helped you as a person?
I'm not sure. That's kind of a tough question. I've always enjoyed writing. My great aunt Betty and my mother both write stories. Neither one of them have ever published. They just do it for fun. So I've kind of always been around writers. And then, I've always read. Like I read so much as a child. I think I devoured the Sweet Valley High series. Every time the Scholastic Book Fair would come out, there'd be a new one, and I'd be in line to buy it. And, I'd read it on the way home on the bus. And by the time I got home, it was done. And so I've always been much more of a homebody that likes to just, read, write. I actually started writing my first story when my youngest daughter was just a baby, because in those beautiful first few months when they, sleep a lot, I was just kind of bored, so I decided I was going to start writing a book. So I got out a notebook and a pen, and that's how I started writing my first novel, which is not published, by the way. Maybe someday I have to redo it, but I think, I guess it just makes me calmer. I think is probably the best description to use because, I get grumpy when I can't squeeze in writing time, and my husband notices it. There's been times he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I just haven't had a chance to sit down and write anything." And so then he'll shoo me away and say, "Go do it," because you're kind of miserable. But yeah, like I think it's always been part of my personality, just that very calm, like I like to be in my head a lot, going over dialogue and plots and characters, and it just, I guess, my husband's a homebody too, so I think it works out well that he likes to stay home and watch TV, and I like to stay home and write. So
all right, my next question. What is your favorite word and why?
My favorite word? I don't know if I have one. I use smile a lot in my books. And the word just, I don't know why. I'm always having to go back and take that word out of my books. But I'm not actually sure I have a favorite word. I think I like all of them, except for moist. I don't like the word moist. There's just something about that word. Do you have a favorite word?
I don't know, but I just end up liking everything, so I don't.
Right.
I just don't know. It just occurred to me, why don't I have a favorite word?
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, as right, as a writer and a reader, you think that we would, but we love them all.
Yeah. Many writers do. I was just chatting to Scarlett. It was serendipity for her. There's so many writers who have a favorite word, and that's surprising. Like it's difficult to pick out one word.
Right? That's like trying to pick your favorite book. I mean, it's hard to pick your favorite book, out of all the ones that are out there. So
if somebody asks me, I'm like, okay, you can ask me authors because I read multiple multiple books by a single author itself. So yeah, it's always difficult to list books.
Right. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
difficult.
Yep.
Okay, so if you didn't write, what would you do for work?
I've always wanted to work with animals. I'm a huge animal lover. In fact, when I graduated high school, I went into college with the intention of being a veterinarian because I wanted, to do stuff to work with animals and help animals. And then I took one semester of biology and I said, no, we're done. I'm not doing this. But I would definitely do something with animals. If not veterinarian, then maybe, like puppy sitting or walking or, being like a cat cuddler or something. I honestly don't think I have the emotional strength to work in any sort of animal rescue just because I know some of the things that those people see and I'd be in tears all the time. I wouldn't be able to do it. But definitely something with animals.
Okay, Kara, you said cat, and cat reminded me of Taylor Swift. Did you check out Red Taylor's version?
I have not. No, I have not had the chance yet. But it's on my list. To do. I have to check it out. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. Okay. My next question. Do you Google yourself?
I used to. I haven't in a long time, just because I really don't have the time to do that. My days are pretty full between kids and the puppy and work and writing. But now I think I'm going to just to see what comes up. I do. It's funny because when I do have to go to my website for any reason, like I just type it into the Google bar, and I get the KA in there, and then it automatically comes up. So, but I haven't actually Googled my name in a while. I think I'm kind of afraid to. I don't know if I want to see anything negative. So.
Yeah, it's scary. Yes. Okay, now you just said it's difficult to pick favorite novels, but apparently my next question is just that. What are your favorite novels?
Well, obviously, I'm a huge Twilight fan. You've read my series, so I'm sure that you've seen the similarities.
Yes.
That it's just, honestly, though, I haven't read anything else by Stephenie Meyer. I've only read her Twilight series, but I've loved that. I love, on the adult side, I love to read Laura Lee. I don't know if she's still publishing, to be honest. I don't think I've seen anything new from her, but she writes some pretty intense adult romantic suspense, which I really like. And in terms of Christian fiction, which I have written and read, and that's actually the publisher I work for is Christian. I love Jody Headland. No, I'm drawing a blank. on the other one, she's a YA writer. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. This is gonna drive me crazy. But yeah, she writes. Oh God. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I read a lot of stuff, but definitely Twilight. I've read Lee Walker's stuff. I think you did an interview with her, right? I read her vampire series. I really enjoyed that. So I was excited to see your interview with her. So I have to ask, what's yours? Like, do you have like your top 3 favorite authors? Who would yours be?
Cassandra Clare, Holly Black, and I can't put the third one because those 2 are the ones that I read the most frequently. But right. I can't think the third one.
Yeah, I did just last year actually finally got around to reading Cassandra Clare's Immortal Instrument series. I only read the main one though. Like I haven't read all of the sequels and spinoffs and things that she's done, but I really enjoyed the main series. Have you seen the TV show?
I hate it. I did watch it, but I didn't like it because
really?
The ending totally ruined it. Did you like it?
Well, okay. See, I watched the show before I read the books, so I probably didn't have. Which I honestly usually don't ever do, but my friend messaged me and says, you have to watch the show. It's so good. I'm like, all right. But yeah, so I ended up watching the show before I read the book. So I didn't really have any preconceived notions going into the show. So I think that let me enjoy it more. But I was kind of shocked at the age of the actors that played the characters. Like they seemed way more adult than they do in the books, I guess.
The book Clary was originally 16, but in the TV show she was 18, and that's a huge difference. So there were a lot of tweaks and changes there. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that after I read the books. I was like, whoa, these aren't anything like alike,
if some people are like movies are better than the TV show, there's only one movie, but some people still argue that the movie is better. I never watched the movie, I just watched the trailer, and I think I
Yeah.
like Nick Sherwood more. So whatever.
Yeah, well, I did watch the movie too. And I think my issue with that is the actress that they had play Clary. She's great, don't get me wrong, but she also played the daughter in that movie The Blind Side. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. Well, she played the daughter in that movie, and so I kind of had that in my head the whole time I was watching the Mortal Instruments movie. So it was kind of hard for me to get past that. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely usually read the book first, then watch whatever comes out. But this time I did it backwards. So
Watched the show before reading the book once, and that was in the case of the Vampire Diaries. And I
yes.
actually didn't finish reading the books then. I watched the whole thing, and I'm like, what's the purpose of reading? And I didn't.
Yeah, man, the books and that show are so different. Like I can't get over how different they are. I that's one of the instances where the show is so much better than the books, in my opinion. So
Well, appearance of characters have changed. I had actually read the first book, and I'm like, the whole characters' appearances have changed, and I was a little prejudiced that I like the show. Not exactly prejudiced, but I'll say my opinion was kind of influenced by the TV show. So I don't like the
right.
books.
Right. Yeah,
Because
I'm not a fan of the books either. Did you know in the books that originally Bonnie and Damon were supposed to get together in the books?
yeah, I did know Stefan and Elena end up together, but I didn't know about that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Definitely,
I
Elena
was
did
like,
end up
whoa.
together, right?
I'm sorry?
Stefan and Elena end up together in the books, right?
I never read far enough to find out. I don't think I could get past like the second book. And at that point they were still together. I don't know if she ever ends up getting, I don't know how it ended in the books because I just couldn't get that far into them.
I just read the first book and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, definitely different, that one.
Okay, my next question. What book are you currently reading?
Actually, I'm not reading anything at the moment. I am deep into reading submissions and editing manuscripts for my publisher. It's the end of the year, so we're trying to get everything closed up, get all of our submissions cleared out and either accepted or rejected. So that's what I'm reading at the moment. I'm not reading anything for fun, unfortunately, but hopefully in December, when things slow down, I can dive back into something. But I actually have, it's a series. Man, I don't know why I can't think of the title. But it's not the Hush Hush series, but the other big Fallen by Lauren Kate, I think her name is.
But yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, it's angels, demons, humans. So I'm going to be diving into that in December. That's my plan. I know I'm so far behind on all of this. Like those were popular like years ago, and I'm just finally getting around to reading them.
It happens a lot with me. Like there is a movie and the movie is way old and the book is even older, and I realize, oh, there's a book.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, my plan, hopefully, in the first of the year, is to actually start writing a Fallen Angel series. Sorry, that's my daughter calling. Trying to write a Fallen Angel series. So I'm starting to read all the books that that were really popular and kind of see what they do and kind of just do some research from there. So
Okay, now I'm a little curious. You mentioned you have read Lee Walker's work. Which one is it?
oh, it was the Equinox pack, right? That series. Yeah, I read it, I don't know, 7 months. I think I read it shortly after it came out, the first one. And then I have her second one on my Kindle. I just haven't jumped into it yet. Again, so busy. But yeah, I read the first one. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really unique take on the vampire lore and all that. So don't spoil anything. I haven't read the rest of the series, but I'm going to. So
I'm done. I've read till book 3, and the book 4 is yet to come out. So I guess I'm ahead.
Okay,
Oh,
good. Me reading slow, I guess helps because I hate getting to the end of a book and knowing that there's more coming and I can't just go get it. So I guess.
But thankfully, the cliffhangers are not too big that they won't literally drive you insane. They'll just drive you crazy.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. All right, good.
That's I don't know. That's a plus point. Oh no, this one's cool. Oh, I also have a doubt. We have those witches in the Eternal Curse. Zoya.
Yep.
I call them Zoya. What do you say it?
Zoya. Yep, that's correct.
Oh, dang. It's actually a name. And I'm like, oh, it's a name, so I've been pronouncing it the way the name's being pronounced. It's a girl name. I learned
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even remember how I came up with that name. I think I was like Googling unique baby names or something, and it popped up. I'm like, huh, all right. So I used it.
Okay. So my next question is just that. If you could be a supernatural creature, what would you be? Vampire who's cursed or a Zoya witch?
Probably a Zoya witch. I would hate to be cursed. It would be kind of cool to have some magic, and I guess, if you've read the entire series, then you know that, you can kind of choose to use your magic for good or bad. So it would be nice to kind of have that choice. I could use it for good rather than being a bad guy. But yeah, definitely the magic, I think.
I'm actually on book 2, and I think there's gonna be a love triangle between Trent, Jax, and Chloe. Am I right? I'm just sensing it. I'm getting the sense of it. I'm not certain.
Yeah. That's my nod to the Vampire Diaries with Elena, Stefan, and Damon. Jax was actually based a lot on Damon from the TV show, not the books. And so he kind of comes on a little strong. He's blunt but loyal and very caring, and I think you get to kind of see some of that as him and Chloe get a little closer. I won't spoil anything for you, but that was a ton of fun to write. It really comes into play in book 3 and 4 a lot, and then it's resolved by the end of book 4, I believe. Beginning of book 4, I don't know, somewhere in book 4, it's fully resolved. So
I like
I'm
the
sorry?
storyline and everything so much. I'm gonna finish reading the whole thing. There's 6 or 8 books, something like that. I'm not
7.
certain.
There's 7.
Okay, I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Counting.
It's 7. Funny because when I started the series, I only planned 3 books. And then I got into writing book 3, and I'm like, I'm not going to finish it. So I'm like, all right, we'll make it 4. And then 4 turned into 5. And then a friend is like, oh, you could make, book 5, 2 books. And I'm like, you need to shut up because I'm just writing so many books. And then I was, I finished this series, and something big happens at the end of book 6, which I won't tell you, that really upset a lot of readers. And I got some emails, and then I was chatting with my my publishing assistant, Chris, and we were kind of tossing some ideas around, and I landed on something, and she's like, that would be fantastic. So then I wrote book 7. And now I'm actually in the middle of working on a new series that's connected, but this is going to be Jax's series. So he's going to have 3 books. So book 1 is done.
I figured out something. Chloe ended up with Trent and not with Jax.
Correct. Yeah, but that's no secret. You just read the blurbs and you'll know that. So that's,
you were just saying, and you said that Jax is gonna have 3 books. That makes it pretty obvious that he didn't end up with Chloe. Chloe chose Trent.
No, but I put a twist on this love triangle. Like, it's not just your standard, oh, I like these 2 guys, I don't know who to pick. There's something more driving this. So that kind of explains, once you get into it, you'll see. I don't want to spoil anything. So
we better come stop talking about the subject. I'll end up asking something, and I don't want to ruin it. Okay. If you could time travel, would you like to visit the past or the future?
Probably the past. Not too far in the past though, like maybe like the 80s or the 90s. I grew up in the 90s, so I'm a 90s girl, but I love the 80s. I loved the music, and and just the sort of the atmosphere, I guess. Things were a lot simpler back then. Not necessarily better, but I think it was a lot simpler without, the constant communication and the social media. And don't get me wrong, I love it now. Like I don't think I'd be able to live without it, but just remembering my own childhood, and the way that things were done compared to my kids now, Sometimes I miss those days when you just couldn't get in touch with somebody at the flick of a button all the time.
Okay, now you mentioned 80s, and I'm reminded of the show I'm watching right now. It's called Young Sheldon. Have you watched
Oh
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm on season 3. I actually found it on Prime Video like last month, I think, and I'm loving it so much.
Yeah, have you watched The Big Bang Theory?
No, I plan on doing it after watching this. I didn't know
There
it
you go.
existed, but as the
Right.
story moves further, I'm like, oh, there's another. So I'm
There
gonna
is.
watch
Yeah,
it.
Big Bang is one of my favorite shows. I love that show. So
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. Okay.
definitely, yeah.
All right, my next question. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
3 words. Perfectionist,
Yes.
loyal,
Okay.
and probably compassionate. Um, I tend to have a lot of emotions. I don't always show them, but I have a lot of emotions about a lot of things. And I'm a perfectionist, which is not a good thing to be when you're a writer because your first drafts are never going to be perfect, and I strive for that, and it kind of drives myself crazy doing it. But yeah, I guess those would be the 3 words.
So crazy about perfection that if I'm writing on the first page of my notebook, it's just, just the first page itself, and I do some mistake and I have to cut it, and then turn the whole page because I'm like
Me
the first
too.
page is ruined.
I do. Yes, I do that too. Like if I mess up or the writing isn't as good as I want it to be, I'll rip it out and start over. Oh, I do the same thing.
Exactly. I do that a lot, and my father's like, "You waste a lot of paper, it's natural wastage." You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's funny. See, I thought I was the only one who did that. It's good to know I'm not.
my sister sometimes is so crazy about it. Just yesterday, she gave me this essay of hers to go through, and I end up like literally crossing the whole thing because I'm like, "You're not writing it this way. There's no comma here, just a full stopper," and she went insane. And I'm
No,
not
that's
very
funny.
good at expressing that. So my mom's like, "You could help me better." So my
That's
perfectionism
funny.
sometimes is not exactly healthy.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
And that's because most of the times you end up being sad and depressed because you never get your way.
Right.
Mm.
Yes, absolutely. And my daughter, sadly, she's gotten this for me. She's the same way, and she's so ambitious. Like she's 16, she graduated high school 2 years early. She got accepted to her top choice college. She's working, she's now starting to want to take care of the house on her own and like grocery shop. Like she's trying to learn all this stuff. And then she gets so frustrated with herself if she can't get something right the first time. And I'm like, honey, you're 16. Like, I'm like, calm down. Like you got time to learn this. But yeah, I can see that she's getting that from me. And I kind of feel bad about that because I don't want her to go through life feeling like that what she's doing isn't good enough because that's really as a perfectionist, that is how you feel that, oh, I'm not good enough. I didn't get this right the first time, or it's not as good as I want it to be. And that can be, yeah, that can definitely be difficult on yourself. So
But we still are hard on ourselves, no matter how many motivation quotes I read, how many songs I listen to. Nothing.
yep, yep, absolutely.
Exactly. My next question. I want the last one. Any message you would like to give to your readers?
Thank you. Huge thank you. When I started writing the Curse series, I actually never intended to publish it. I was kind of struggling with my writing. I was working with an agent and I was trying to break into the adult market, the adult romance market, and it wasn't quite going the way I wanted it to. I had quite a few setbacks, and so a friend of mine said, "You know what? Write something for you. Write something that you want to read, something that's going to be fun, sort of when things get too hard, you can just go to this and kind of lose yourself." And at the time, Twilight was still quite big. I think we were just getting into the Breaking Dawn phase at that point. And I'd been looking for books that were similar to Twilight in the tone and the theme, and that it was just a very sort of simple, girl meets boy, they can't be together. Like I didn't want a bunch of, I guess, over the top plot. Like I just wanted a simple love story, and I was having such a hard time finding one. So I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll try writing one. So I did, and that's sort of how the Cursed series was born. And like I said, when I first started, it was just for fun. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of good. Maybe I can do something with it. So I had started sending it out to agents, and I had gotten some good feedback. They all thought it was very well written and they enjoyed it, but unfortunately the traditional market wasn't right for what I was writing. It was too quiet because it didn't have that big, like Hunger Games plot, so to speak. So I decided at that point that maybe it was time to just create my own publishing company, which I had been wanting to do for a very long time, and delve into the self-publishing. So I did, and this was the first series I've ever published, and it's done so much better than I ever thought it would. So honestly, just a huge, huge thank you to every single person that has bought it and read it and reviewed it and even just reached out to me to say that you liked it. It means the world to me, because this really is the book that I've always wanted to write, and back then I wanted to read, and so it's the series of my heart. 7 books later, if you couldn't tell. So really, honestly, just thank you to everybody.
That's so sweet. Thank you
you.
so much, Sarah, for this honor. It meant so much to me that I got the chance to talk to you. And thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And anytime, I'm constantly going to be writing and releasing books. So I have a lot of stuff planned for next year. So hopefully, I'll be releasing a lot of new books.
Now I'm excited. Now that I know Jax is going to have a book.
Yep. He's got a series. Like I said, book 1, his series is called Wars of the Heart. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. The first book is done. I'm actually hoping to have it up for pre-order here within the next couple of weeks. I'm halfway done with book 2, and then I'm slowly working on plotting book 3. And then I have the new story coming out in January. That's part of the anthology. And I have co-written a sci-fi romance. It's got aliens in it. So that's new, that we're hoping to start releasing in October. So lots of stuff coming up.
Now I'm more excited about Jax. Now when I was reading the book, now I have this question. When you were writing, were you conflicted that do you like Trent more or Jax more? I was conflicted. Who do I like more?
I have honestly gone back and forth so many times on this. When I first started writing, I was 100% Team Trent. But I had his brother in there. I'm like, I got to do something with him. Like, if I'm going to have him in here, there's got to be a reason, And so when I got to the end of book 2, and I knew where book 3 was going to pick up and where it was going to go, I was like, okay, well, this is where Jax can come in, and things kind of built from there and snowballed. And as I was writing it, I went back and forth about who she was going to choose, because even I didn't know for a while. And I was, talking with other writer friends, and they're like, you've had 2 books right now with her and Trent. If you now switch this, you're probably going to upset your readers, and they may not continue the series. So that was kind of in the back of my mind. And then when I came up with book 4 and the way that was going to go, I kind of found my way out, I guess, of the love triangle, which adds so much conflict to the book and to her and Trent's relationship. So for Chloe, I think Trent's the better choice for her, just because I think their personalities mesh better. But I definitely like Jax. Like, he's my favorite. He's so easy to write. He's so much fun. I love that he really doesn't care. Like, he doesn't have a filter. Like, he says whatever's on his mind, and that can be easy to write, because you don't have to worry about, oh, well, does this sound like him? Is this something he would really say? Because the answer is yeah, he's going to say whatever he wants to say. So I definitely like Jax a lot. Yeah. Who's your favorite so far?
I haven't decided, because I'm just like kind of getting a sense of love triangle, but I really don't get to know the chemistry between Jax and Chloe. So I'm still deciding. I haven't thought. I'm saying, all right. Well, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know, but I just can't find the right words today.
Oh, that's okay. I know. I feel like I'm stumbling too.
Yeah, I just can't find the right words. I'm so sorry. I'm
that's
stuck
okay.
in a
Thank you so much. When you finish the series, you'll have to let me know if you're Team Trent or Team Jax.
I'll let you know.
Absolutely. Okay.
Now I'm more excited about reading Jackson's novel.
Yeah, I have a lot of people in my email and in my Facebook Messenger going, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? We want to read it." So I have a lot of people waiting for Jax's story, and which is kind of, I mean, it's great, but I'm kind of feeling the pressure, because what if I don't do his story justice? What if people hate it? I hope it lands as well as everybody's hoping it will. So.
It will be well. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thank you
Good.
so much, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
First and foremost, I need to thank Kara for being so amazing and so cooperative. You know, when we were chatting before the conversation, there was some confusion in the time zones and she had to join really early and she was so cooperative, and I'm like, oh my god, she's just so great, so amazing. So I'm like, man, she's one of the best authors I've chatted with. And now you might be wondering, how did I come across her? Well, I was reading a book I was looking for a book, not reading a book. I was looking for a book in the vampire genre because it was been a while since I read vampires. I'd been reading fairies, werewolves, wizards, but no vampires. So I was just going through my Kindle looking for a nice vampire novel, and then I came across Eternal Curse. I loved the blurb. I downloaded the book. Oh, by the way, it's free on Kindle, so you can grab your copies right now if you haven't already read it, because I would highly recommend it to you too. So yeah, I downloaded it. I started reading it, loved it. Wrote to Kara, we got in touch. She's so cool. I even asked her a couple of questions about the Dreamcast and playlists and all. Yeah, so she was so cool. I asked her that, hey, can we just, talk sometime? And she's like, yeah, sure. And we had a chat. It was so much fun. Thank you so much, Kara. And thank you guys for watching this video up till the very end. And thank you so much for sticking around. I know I'm not the most regular person out there, but you guys are still so supportive. Thank you so much for being here and, well, supporting me. Thank you. I hope to see you guys really soon. In the meantime, start reading Eternal Curse if you haven't already. If you're in the midway of the series like I am, I'm currently on book 3, finished reading book 2. Yeah, so I'm currently reading book 3. If you are midway, finish the series. And if you're midway, you can tell me what book are you on, right? And if you have finished the series, you can tell me if you're Team Trent or Team Jax. That's something I've started to wonder now. See you soon. Bye.